Hey, what's going on, everybody? Counselor Curtis here. Hey, I'm just doing a quick show because obviously the Chauvin trial. So if you got questions, I got answers. I'm going to do a quick little introspective on the whole thing. I'm just going to turn this reel down just a little bit and leave it on there. Thank you, Kevin McLeod, for these tracks. All right. So, guilty on all counts. Here's the thing about juries. You never know what they're going to do. You never know. I always tell my clients, listen, you could have an open and shut case and you just don't know what is going to affect them. A situation like this could have been anything. But here's the interesting part about this. The jury had to conclude, in order to convict Chauvin on this stuff, the jury had to conclude that there was no reasonable possibility that anything else other than Chauvin caused Floyd's death. No reasonable possibility that it was the drugs or his heart condition or anything else. Okay, like I said, you never know. You never know what they're going to do. So that's their verdict. It is what it is. This is what I'll say about this, though. It seems suspicious because, and then there's a couple of things that were wrong with the trial. Number one, they kept it in Minnesota. I mean, you've just had a year of riots and things being all torn up. I don't know what kind of questions they screen these jurors with, but I gotta believe that they knew what was going on in the community. And the fact that they weren't sequestered until the deliberations is a bit bad. I'm sure the judge gave them instructions to not watch the news and stuff like that. And I'm sure that they mostly followed it. But it doesn't take much. It only takes one thing, like, I don't know, the President of the United States coming out and saying he wants a guilty verdict. Now, I know they were sequestered at that point, but how sequestered were they? I don't know. I mean, maybe they were completely by then, and the President's on safe ground, but you never like the executive or the congressional, the legislative getting in on the judiciary. You never like to see that. So the fact that Maxine and Biden came out and both said something to the effect that it's guilty, like you don't know what's going on in there. You don't have no idea what's going on in there. The amount of evidence that is held back and the way that it's presented, it changes everything from what you see on the TV. So you just don't know, and you gotta leave it in the jury's hands. Usually they're very good. It's amazing, but they're quite good. In this case, I don't know. I gotta think that there's going to be an appeal coming because it just looks like they overlooked the reasonable doubt. But from my perspective, I just think that the defense lost it. They lost it. They let him believe that Chauvin killed him, and I think you could have raised reasonable doubt in that regard. Anyway, AOC, it turns out, has a nice little comment on this whole thing. So we're going to bring her up here. And we're going to let her comment and see what she says.
It's not justice. And I'll explain to you why it's not justice. It's not justice because justice is George Floyd going home tonight to be with his family. Justice is Adam Toledo getting tucked in by his mom tonight. Justice is when you're pulled over, there not being a gun that's part of that interaction.
All right, let's take these one step at a time. All right, the first thing she says is, it's not justice because Floyd's dead. Well, I'm sorry. That's the way it is in every situation. I mean, if there's a crime committed, the harm's already done. The justice is supposed to undo that in some way. It can't undo it all the way. Everybody always knows that. You can't, it's not going to bring back life. If you say that there's no justice because the guy's already dead, you're implying that in every murder case, there is no justice. Well, when you say stuff like that, you completely undermine the justice system and people's faith in it. Look, we have the system out there for a very simple reason. Because if you don't have the system, people will go take revenge. And the revenge is always worse than society wants it to be. Let me give you an example. In every case where you have any type of sexual assault, the parents, particularly the dad, will want the perpetrator dead. Killed, dead. And it doesn't matter if it's a 15-year-old, it doesn't matter if the daughter wanted the guy, it doesn't matter. The father will want the perp dead. All right. Now, from a societal perspective, we recognize that's probably not the best outcome. You're probably throwing away some resources in that perp by killing them, and it's also there are some other reasons. For example, if a rapist knows that the penalty for raping is death, then you never would leave your victim alive. Why would you do that? That's a witness right there. If you're going to get death anyway, then you would just kill them. So we have these systems in place. A lot of thought has gone into the punishment and the reasons for it. And look, it's not perfect. There's a lot of things I would change. Wrote a whole book about it. Probably should post that. Let's see. You can check it out right there. So, but you have to let the system do its thing, and you have to respect the system. Otherwise, you're basically encouraging everybody to go take revenge. She's basically telling everybody, take to the streets, you're not going to get any justice, doesn't matter, Adam Polito's not going home, doesn't matter if all those cops get killed, if we kill all those cops as a punishment, then it doesn't matter because Adam Polito's still not going home, right? So you can't have any justice according to AOC. Now, it's just a horrible take. I understand she's unsophisticated about the whole thing, but it is what it is. What she just said a second ago, the second thing she just said, which is there should not be a gun as part of a traffic stop, that's real, okay? That's true. Why we have our officers still armed officers stopping people for things like tail light out or missing tag. We had this other incident recently, and here, maybe I can play it for you here. This is the gas station one, and this guy was obviously pulled over by the police, and now he set this whole thing up. You'll see, okay? This guy, should give him credit. This guy's got nice video stuff going on here. Oops, let's see how I get the sound here for you.
Plate of his license and registration, which is the license plate, which has the registration and license of the vehicle. He doesn't have it properly displayed right here at the rear of the vehicle like he's supposed to. Later they found out that it was in the top window, but it's still against the law because it has to be visible from the rear and it has to be lit where a police officer can see it and easily identify it. So he is riding and a legal traffic stop is being conducted. He never stopped for a mile and a half, according to the police officer on his body-worn camera. He drove a mile and a half without stopping at all. He didn't slow down. He didn't pull over. He did not call 911 to let them know that he was followed by a police officer. He was attempting to pull into a well-lit area. He never stopped for a mile and a half while they had lights and sirens on him.
So what? Now look, watch this. Hold on, he's going to play the video here.
On a police call. It necessitates this to be a high-risk stop because now you don't know why this person...
It doesn't necessitate a high-risk stop.
You don't know why they're refusing to stop after being lit up by a patrol vehicle.
And
so they do what we call a high-risk stop. You pull them at gunpoint and you give them commands because now this has turned into, from a simple traffic stop to something that could be a little more serious.
It could be, but what? Now watch this.
Roll the window down!
This guy pulls out his gun and he's pointing it at the driver. Now, what this guy has just said is that this guy is pulled over. What this guy has just said is that this guy is pulled over because his tag's not properly displayed. And this guy has got his gun out, okay, because the tag's not properly displayed. What the hell? What does this guy suspect this guy of doing right now? It better be murder because he's about to kill him. One little slip on this trigger, he could shoot this guy, okay? Now this whole scene ends up to be a setup. This guy right here set the whole thing up, right? And he wanted to get it on video and everything, and so that and he's suing the cops here, this guy. But this guy and his buddies, okay, this cop and his buddies all pull out their guns and, like this guy says, they turn it into a high risk stop. And there's no reason for that. There's no reason for any of that shit. It's just way, way, way out of control. These days you could take a picture of somebody's license plate. You could go get them later. All right. Now I understand if it comes back like Derrick, the one who just got shot accidentally, Dwayne, what was it? The officer pulled out the taser. That guy had an active warrant for armed robbery, okay? In that kind of situation, you do want to detain the person right then. Then you do know that this person is suspected of something incredibly big, and you might want to get them right then, because if they have an active warrant, obviously they'd avoided arrest before. So that's a takedown situation, and why you would have the woman pulling out her taser. Now, just to comment on that case real quick, we'll see what happens in that case, but she should get off as well, unless you believe that when she pulls out her gun and says taser, 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 that she knows that it's her gun and she's saying taser, taser, taser in order to throw off people. If you believe that, then you can convict her of murder. Otherwise, she should not be convicted of anything, because there's no criminal intent. You have to have criminal intent. If you don't wait around for the criminal intent, you got nothing. So, all right. Let me see about a little bit more AOC here.
Because you have a headlight out.
She's right about
Justice is your school system not having or being part of a school to prison pipeline.
Okay, what does that even mean? I mean, I appreciate what you're trying to say there. You know, you shouldn't go straight from school to prison. But like, how about a suggestion as to how? I got one. You ready? Sell all the schools off. That's my suggestion. Privatize everything. So,
justice is a municipality and a government that does not, because it trickles down, right?
Trickle down?
That does not value
I'm sorry.
military.
Did you say trickle down?
And armaments more than it values health care and education and housing.
All right. So, here's the thing. The implication there is that because we have a big military budget, and our military budget is bigger than our school budget, that Derrick Chauvin sees that and decides to be overly aggressive in his police enforcement. The things she's trying to equate here are just way disparate and not related in any way. So anyway, but I just wanted to say what she said a minute ago about justice not being present if nobody can go home. That just makes no sense. So anyway, at least Minneapolis won't burn, right? Some good things out of it. All right, just been a test here. Hope you had a little fun. Thank you, Kevin MacLeod, for these tracks. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.